yours truly, Ivanka, the first and currently only KonMari Consultant in the Toronto area. Today we're going to be talking about clothing. That's the first step of organization. Most people think that when you organize a house or an apartment or wherever, you want to do things by room. That's very, very wrong. I'm going to just read something from the book. She says it a lot more intelligently than I just did. Tidying up by location is a fatal mistake. Many people are surprised to hear that such a seemingly viable approach is actually a common pitfall. The root of the problem lies in the fact that people often store the same type of item in more than one place. When we tidy each place separately, we fail to see that we're repeating the same work in many locations and become locked into a vicious cycle of tidying. That makes total sense, right? Especially if you live in a house, you don't have clothes just in your closet upstairs, guaranteed. You have clothes upstairs, downstairs, in bins, in the garage, in the car, you name it. The larger your space, the more likely your clothes are to be spread about. You could have 10 pairs of black jeans and not even know it because they're all over the place. So when you bring them all into one location, you're able to sort through them and decide what you need and what you don't. One of the things that people assume when storing clothes is the best way to do it is by hanging them in a closet. Wrong. When you walk into someone's closet, sometimes you see that they're so packed full of clothing that they're wrinkled when you pull them out. In order to pull them out, 4 other shirts fall down. Seemingly, it would have made sense to hang them if they have room to breathe, but when you are hanging clothing, the only clothing that you should hang are clothes that flow in the wind, or heavier like blazers, obviously, or shirts with a collar. Because something like this wouldn't be able to fold up quite nicely. Well, I mean, this is a dress, but you know what I mean. This makes sense to hang, and it has space in between, so that's all right. When you walk into a drawer, you don't walk into drawers unless you're this big, but when you look into a drawer, most people store their clothing like this. You think, oh, it works like that in the clothing store, so that must be the way to do it. Also, wrong. Look at this guy at the bottom. If he's at the bottom and he has 25 more shirts piled on top of him, you're not going to wear him very often. And when you do, he's going to be wrinkled by the time you pull him out. In order to pull him out, you're going to have to pull 20 pounds of shirts off of him. They're going to be on the floor. It's a hassle. So with the KonMari method, she talks about storing things vertically, which is up and down, like a bookshelf. When you store books, you don't store them one on top of the other, you store them side by side. So when you pull it out, you know exactly where it goes. Another reason why folding is important, because the Japanese believe in passing your energy through touch. So when you are folding a shirt, you're passing through your energy and you're showing appreciation for that item. That may sound silly, but if you really think about it, if you appreciate your clothing more, you'll get more wear out of it and it'll bring you more joy. So what you're going to do is you're going to lay it flat. You're going to fold it in a little bit, kind of where the collar ends on either side. Then you're going to fold it in thirds. So 1/3 this way, 1/3 this way, and then you pop it in half, and ta-da, it stands up. For time purposes, I'm just going to fold these in half like this, not really properly, but just to show you how that kind of works. Another thing to do when you're sorting the clothing, putting it in the drawer, is to do it by colors. You do it light to dark, so that you know when you pull something out, you know exactly where it goes when it comes back. Obviously, these last 3 were not how you're supposed to do it, but for time purposes, I'm trying to just speed things up here to show you. So let's say you pull out this shirt here. It's gone in the wash, you bring it back out. It's going to be less overwhelming to put it back because you see, as you see here, the spot has been left over. And because you've done it by color, you know that, oh, this guy, he's not quite gray, he's not quite blue, he must go there. So there you go. You can do that with pants, sweaters, really anything that you're not hanging. And it actually takes up a lot less space. I don't know how that works. It's kind of magic. But when I did this, I had like a good section of the drawer that wasn't used. Meanwhile, prior to, the same amount of clothing I had to push down in order to shut the drawer. So I hope this week's tip was helpful. And if you want to check out some of the things that I do on a daily basis, you can have a look at Instagram or Twitter at Organize Toronto. And again, if you have any suggestions or things you'd like to see, please let me know. And again, please be kind. There's no reason to say things in a mean way, basically. All right, I look forward to seeing you next week. See you later.